welcome to another episode of The Stitch Life. Today I am in the New York City Garment District and I'm going to go through and discuss with you guys different ways to navigate this district. Now, New York City is quite the experience. So coming here, and if you're doing this on your own, you're definitely going to want to do your research effectively, find the things that you're looking for, and then come here and execute because it tends to get overwhelming. And I've had a lot of different designers tell me this. So a couple things to remember and a couple things to take count of is going to be the order of operations. Now, we got two sectors. We got product development, then we got production. Now, we know on the product development side, we are fabric sourcing, trim sourcing, we are pattern making, we are fitting, we are constructing samples of the garment. Now, on the production side, once that stuff is done and confirmed, now we are grading. We are ordering those fabrics in bulk. We are ordering labels. We're ordering tags. We're ordering our packaging, pretty much hangers and plastics and all that good stuff, okay? So I'm actually going to start right here on 36th Street. 36th Street has quite a few fabric stores on it, as well as some trimming stores. So I'm actually going to take you guys right behind me. This is one of my favorites. It's called Botani. All right. So, and I'm going to buttons. They have a selection. Bulk. So the key to trims is actually having the right information that you need as far as dimensions go and making sure you're taking account of the codes that are on the trims. So let's say during the product development process, you sourced one of these trims over here on this wall. And then you just bought a few for your sample development. You have to make sure that you record the item number, the size number, and they're always located directly on the pieces, as well as the color. So that way, when you go back to get that in bulk and buy lots of it, you're not guessing. And a lot of times you may or may not have the actual item of article with you. So this is where your bill of materials comes in and your cutter's must comes in. Your cutter's must and your bill of materials should have all of your materials on it. Okay. So Baltani is a street level store and you can come here, you can research them. You could also check them out online. They have tons and tons of trimming, zippers, and we'll go over to the section so you can take a look. And then I'll give you a quick little synopsis about zippers. So the trick with zippers, well, not even a trick. It's not even a trick. It's just a couple things to note, honestly. So zippers always long. I'm going to show you guys right behind me. Zippers come like in 36 inches, 24 inches. You'll notice over here behind me that there are a ton of zippers here. Open, close. Now, rule of thumb, you cannot make a open zipper closed. I'm sorry, reverse that. You cannot turn a closed zipper into an open zipper, but you can turn an open zipper into a closed zipper, okay? So let's say hypothetically you were buying a whole bunch of these zippers over here on this wall. You see they're very long, and not that you would actually use a long zipper, but let's say your garment calls for a 6-inch zipper at the center front. You could buy this one zipper, and because it's 36 inches, make how many zippers? What's 36 divided by 6? Exactly. So you wouldn't purchase a zipper for each one and cut it. You'd purchase one zipper and you'd take it across, and then you'd get it cut to the sizing that you need. A lot of times people think they have to purchase like 4 and 5 zippers and stuff like that when you don't. This one zipper makes multiple sizes, so there's a variety there. And when you go to ordering zippers, you want to make sure that you do tape first and then teeth. So if I was to order this zipper here, this is an M4 zipper, meaning that the teeth is on the smaller side. They have M4, M6, M8, and you'll know because there's always the number is located on the back of the pool. So the bigger the teeth, the longer, the higher the number is. So if I was ordering this, it would be a black M4 zipper, black, meaning that the tape is black and that the teeth is black and that it's closed-ended. If it was an open-ended zipper, I would say I wanted a 14-inch open zipper, black gold, meaning I want a black tape, but I want gold teeth. So it's always tape first, then it's teeth. The type of zipper it is last. So if you were to look at this zipper, This one's kind of tricky because it's got two ends, right? This would be called a black gold M8 two-way zipper because it zips from both sides. Okay, so it's a quick little synopsis on zippers. And then one thing you should know, you don't have to get invisible zippers custom cut. You can actually just cut those. So you can buy invisible zippers in any size and then you could just cut them to your length. But when it comes to metal zippers, they have to be cut to the actual size. And also consider that when you're in the grading process, depending on the size of the garment, your zipper may be 6 inch for maybe your small, but then it could be 6.5 for like your medium or your large. So the zipper variations will change depending on the sizing of the garments as well. Okay. And also back here, we just have a little bit of ribbing. And we'll see ribbing a lot in a lot of sectors like cuffs and collars and stuff like that. You can easily buy this type of ribbing and dye it if it doesn't match the colors that you're looking for. So trims are a really big deal when it comes to finalizing your designs, and they can honestly make or break your design. So don't let them be the last thought process, but let them be a part of the process, if that makes sense. So buttons, zippers, and stuff like that can take a plain fabric up 1,000 notches. Okay. All right, so let's keep on moving. I'm going to leave on out of Batani, and then I'm going to hit around the block, and I'm going to go to 38th Street. Now, the reason why I love 38th Street is because the 38th Street Garment District is legit like a zigzag. About everything you need to do in the process, you can do on 38th Street. Then we do have places on the outskirts that you can work with, but the graders are on 38th. A lot of the factories are on 38th. There's like 3 or 4 trim stores on 38th. There's 2 packaging stores on 38th. So you can legit spend your entire day on 38th in between 7th and 8th in the garment district, which is honestly the easiest thing I could tell a person that's trying to do this on their own and navigate through this place, is that 38th Street is the place to be, okay? Now, if you're interested in working with factories, what I found and what I did is so simple, and it's so funny, but it's so simple. Every single building in the garment district has a like directory when you walk in, and on that directory it has, you know, factories and different names. What I did was I started walking into buildings, going up to the highest floor, and then just working my way down. That's how I was able to find factories. That's how I was able to find graders. I found a glove factory. I found a bag factory. I found a factory that just does hats, factories that do swimwear. But it really was about like taking just not even doing research on the internet, but just coming here and walking. Is a lot of the places in the garment district are very, very old school. They don't have websites. They're not very popular on email. So what they're doing is they have more of a, you know, direct to consumer, like a brick and mortar business, you know? So try it out. So as I'm walking, you guys can probably see a lot of different shops behind me. There's also a big wholesale industry. I would say the wholesale stuff, if you're in that world, is mostly between 35th and 36th Street. A lot of them do require that you have a resale license and so let's take a brief commercial break, and we'll hear from our sponsors and our advertisers, and then we'll see you on 38th Street. All right. And we're back on 38th Street. So some things that you guys should know about factories in New York. Mostly all the factories only and sewing. Now, what that means is that if they're only doing cutting and sewing, there's so many other factors of the design process that needs to happen. Hi, Leo. This is Leo. Leo is our local USPS man, so he's the one who's going to be shipping out all of your production and all your packages. And he's been out here forever. Hey, Leo. Yes, good seeing you. So I say all that to say the cutting and sewing thing, like, believe it or not, most factories don't have buttonhole machines. And because most factories don't have buttonhole machines, you have to come to a place like this. So right behind me is Jonathan Embroidery. Do not get fooled by their name. Yes, they do embroidery, but they do buttonholes, they do sublimation, they do digital printing, you name it. So we'll go inside here. The owner's name is Sunny. Hey, Sunny. How are you? Good to see you. Hello, Professor. Hi. She calls me Professor. Okay. All right. So if you can see behind me, these are buttonhole machines. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can. Hold on. There. So you would have to come here to get your buttonholes done instead of like the factory actually doing your buttonholes, because most of the factories around here don't actually have them. I got you. Most of the factories around here don't have buttonhole machines. So you do have to come over here and see Sunny to get you a buttonhole machine. Now, what you'll do is you'll take your graded marker and then you'll mark all of the points, because it's not up to them to actually do it. So you'll mark all of the points of where the buttons go. You bring it here and you drop it off, or you can stay and you can wait for it. The buttonholes, they only actually take cash too. So that's another thing. A lot of the garment district places only take cash or check. They don't have a lot of credit card processing things too. So, and then while you're here and you're waiting, you could also tap in over here where there is another fabric store right behind here and connected to it. And then you also can get digital printing, sublimation printing, DTG, all of that here. And they actually sell wholesale items like t-shirts and hats too, if you want to make merchandise as well, like from your designs. So I hope that's clear. Sunny, I meant to tell you, I really am a professor now. I just got an adjunct role at FIT for the fall. So thank you. You spoke it into existence. I'm like, you spoke it into existence. All right. I did. I just got an adjunct role at FIT, so I'm actually going to be teaching at FIT. And Sunny's been calling me professor for about 5 years now. Now I'm actually a professor, so that's actually funny. Just found out this week. All right, so next stop on our tour is we're going to go to Seal. Now, Seal Thread is going to be our main place for packaging needs. So Seal Thread holds a lot of notions, so you could get zippers and threads there, but the way I use them is I use them for packaging. Factories don't have plastic, they don't have hangers, they don't have boxes. You have to provide your factory with all of the things to actually properly store your goods. And factories are, they're hot, they're messy, there's a lot of things going on. So you definitely want to provide them with plastic. If not, your stuff will be sitting in a bin over in a corner somewhere, okay? So this is Seal Thread. Seal Thread. And that's Hannah. Hey, Hannah. That's Hannah. So Hannah's our contact over here at Seal Thread. And as I was mentioning about the hangers, they're actually on this back wall, which I'll show you, and as well as the plastics, I'll show you that as well. So Seal Thread has zippers, they have notions, more zippers, but main thing that I like to get from here is this stuff. So they have flat with glue, they have flat bags without glue, they have eco-friendly bags, so they have different sizes as well. And all of these different sizes, depending on the garment, is what you're going to give the factory to fold up your garments and put them inside. Now, if you don't want your garments folded and you have things at a higher price point, then you're going to get their clear bags. They have multiple different weights, just depending on what you are getting. Now, behind me, if you look a little higher, you'll see that there are a whole bunch of hanger options. These are the hangers that you would just buy in a box and that you would provide to a factory. So quick little story. When you start working with retail stores, they have compliance manuals. And within those compliance manuals, they'll tell you how the product should be before it gets to them. So if we think about, let's say Saks. I had a customer who always worked with Saks. Saks requires that you have a 1.5 millimeter plastic and a black matte hanger, okay? Black matte hanger meaning no shine, no hook or anything. So in order for Saks to receive your goods, you have to supply your factory with the right hangers and the right plastic. So that way, when it leaves the factory and goes directly to the warehouse of the retailer, it's already ready. Now, a lot of designers, newer designers, mess up in this area because they don't read the compliance manuals through and through. You have to read the compliance manuals before you start production, because if the retailer doesn't want anything on a hanger and they want it flat packed, then you have to flat pack it, and then you have to put it the way they want it. So some might require that the sticker or the UPC code be on the right side, on the left side. It may be multiple different things, but those are things that you need to know on the front end, so that way when you're navigating through the garment district, you are providing those things to the factory right away. Okay. Now let me come over here to the front just to give you another little detail. Now they have their labels in the front of the store. I'm doing the virtual tour. They have their labels in the front, so you could always grab like the quality of what you're looking for. So like black satin is very popular, and of course white satin is very popular, and then they have vinyl as well. So you choose the type of quality that you want, and then you provide them with the artwork file, and they'll make your labels in 24, 48-hour time frame. 24-hour time frame. All right. Thank you, Hannah. See you soon. And of course, if you're a pattern maker, they got every tool in the book for you, okay? So that is seal thread. Sorry. Thank you. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So, you guys don't know, there is one store right here. Okay. So there are store levels. There are street stores like this right behind me. You'll see that there is a fabric store here, and there is a fabric store right there. Now, when it comes to fabric stores and wholesalers, there is a big difference. Now, the fabric stores are going to have limited quality, like what they call jobbers. So what you see in the store is pretty much what you get. What you see is what you get. Now, when you're working with a wholesaler, it's not necessarily as you see is what you get. They keep things in stock, and that's the difference. Now, there are fabric stores like these that actually have stock of a lot of different items, but that's why you have to check the availability first and ask them before you fall in love with a fabric. I would hate for you to fall in love with a fabric and then you're very, very saddened later that you were not able to get that fabric because all they had was that one roll. So let's go into another store here, that one of my favorites, a crossover. There's so much New York City traffic, jaywalking is definitely legal, okay? And their blocks are very, very long. Now, actually, let me stop over here really quickly. Now, the grading place is right here as well. So that's what I was talking about, like that zigzag. So we're definitely going to be promoting our virtual tour where we go up to factories and we go through all of the different things that you need to do. But for today, I'm just going to walk you through a lot of the stuff that is literally so easily accessible that you can literally just walk over here and find it yourself. All right, so let's take a little roll in high trimming. High trimming is specializes in like feathers and jewels and crystals. Isn't that pretty? Let's go in here. So they also have a website as well. So high trimming, feathers, 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 and more feathers, jewels. This is probably my favorite wall of all time. Favorite wall of all time. So many different embellishments. You can get really creative in here. So if you're a costume designer, this is definitely the area that you want to be in because it's so many different trinkets that you can purchase from. When I tell you, everything's here. This is perfect for costume, burlesque, carnival, prom, anything embellishment. While they sell a lot of fringe, also a lot of different sequins. You name it, they got it, okay? So this is one of my favorites as well. I'll give you another little preview of this side. Now on this side of the room, and high is actually spelled H-A-I, just so you guys know, H-A-I trimming. And then this is all the different embellishments that they have here. Now, with some of these places like this, you're not able to actually get a sample of it. You'll have to buy it. A lot of the fabric stores, they'll give you free swatches when you need stuff. But when it comes to trims, you'll usually have to buy whatever their minimum order yardage is. And it may or may be 1 yard for most places. All right. On to the next one. Next is 3D trimming. And the reason why I love 3D trimming is because they're very similar to seal thread as far as the labels and stuff like that go, but they have a little bit more. They have packaging. So you could do hang tags and you could do care labels, but then you also can do leather hang tags, leather hair labels. So this is all of the different label options that they have and more. This is their information here. And they're also on 38th Street as well. And you'll find that when you come here, not only do they have labels and stuff like that, they specialize in a lot of embroidery and leathers as well. So I'm going to show you this wall behind me. Lots of patches. As you can see, lots of patches. So you can pretty much come here and you can shop. And they also have a lot of buttons here as well. Not necessarily my favorite when it comes to buttons and stuff like that. More so my favorite when it comes to labels and embroidery. Okay. All right. So next up, as we just keep going through this figure eight, is one of my favorites. So I don't know if you guys know, but Riri is one of the best, not one, it is the best zipper to buy as far as like brands go. It never breaks, it never gets messed up. If you ever wonder why zippers are splitting, Riri is the best you can sell on the market. Now in New York, Pacific Trimming, right here on the corner of 38th and 7th, has a pretty much a monopoly for Riri zippers. So you'll find a lot of zippers in this store, and this is actually one of the most popular stores in New York City for trims because they have absolutely everything. They have a huge button selection, zipper selection, growth grain, elastic, threads, you name it, they have it, okay? So I'm gonna walk you through a lot of this because this store here, hands down, is probably one of my favorites. I'm gonna turn this way for this one first. They have a whole dyeing section. So anything you wanna do with like colors and dyeing or printings and stuff like that, you can find it over in this section as well. And believe it or not, dyeing fabrics is actually very fun. It's a little science project you can do with your friends, and then you can literally change something to be something completely different, okay? So my second favorite part of this store is honestly the thread section, okay? So the thread section is broken down by a couple things. We have cotton thread, we have hand quilting cotton thread, we have sew-all thread, we have recycled polyester thread. We have sew-all thread, 100 millimeters, and then we have pure silk thread. And then at the end here, we have machine embroidery thread. There's so many types of thread. And of course, serger thread, let's not forget that. There's so many different types of threads. You have to make sure that you're getting the one that actually makes the most sense for your design. You even have top stitch heavy duty thread, which is mostly used on denim fabrics too. And then they don't have it here, and I don't see it, but it's also woolly thread. Woolly thread is used for stretch garments. And then over here we have upholstery thread. So not every thread can be used on every fabric, and depending on what you're utilizing it for, make sure you're doing your research and make sure you're getting the proper thread. Now, one of my favorite books I like to recommend all the time is Fabrics A to Z. And that's because that book tells you the type of thread that you should use for the garment. So that is a big help. Now I'm going to walk over, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the elastic and grow grain section, but we're going to cut to our commercial break, and I'll see you in a second.
So then I said to him, you ought to customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
Doug, can we talk about something other than work? It's the weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Weekends. Weekends are a lot like insurance.
Yeah.
Yep. Hot dog or chicken? Hot dog.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
All right, and we're back, and I'm actually in the cording section of Pacific Trimming. So when I was talking to you guys earlier about all the different things that you can do, can you imagine all the different things that you can do? There is rope cording, there's braid cording, there's cotton, there's polyester, there's decorative cording here. On this side, we have twill tapes and bindings. We have twill tapes and bindings on this side. And then as we go down here, you'll see more decorative stuff here. You'll see more braid things. There's so much that you can do. I definitely recommend taking a trip so that you are really immersing yourself in all the different possibilities. I do this tour very often. I do it privately for my clients, and I do a group tour 2 or 3 times a year. And it's always so amazing to me how creative a designer is after coming here, and they're really not even knowing all the different possibilities that there were for them to create. People don't even understand the quality of twill tape and how amazing it could be in your corsetry, but how also you can make it into a design element. There's a ribbon over here. There's elastics. There's decorative elastics. And for my accessory lovers, I got something for you too. Boom. These are a lot of different type of handles. So if you're hand making your accessories, these are really great options for you. They have metals, they have plastics, they have acrylic ones, they have a lot of different ones. So if you are a handbag designer or a small SLG designer, this is also a great place for you to find different handles and stuff for bags. Wood handles are here as well. You'll find acrylic, like I said, round, circular, you name it. It's a whole lot of different possibilities here. Let me just let you see that all the way down. And then if we walk over here, and my apologies if I'm moving really fast, guys. I really want to try to get as much stuff in here as possible so that you guys can see. So I'm literally zipping through every area so that you can see, because it's so much to see, you know. But I want you to get a good view. So I'm actually going to step over to the button section again. And the reason why is because all of the smaller trims are in the smaller section. So I'm not going to show you guys the buttons. I'm going to show you guys all of the ribbon and snap options that are over here. Check this out. So you ever think a hook and eye would be so simple? Look at that. There's literally an entire row of hooks and eyes at different sizes. This, and they have natural brass, silver, gunmetal, rose gold, white, black, dyed and match. When I tell you there's so many options out here, it is absolutely crazy. Like, people literally come in this store and get lost. Like, you can spend hours on hours in here. So just a quick snap back to my accessory designers. I want you guys, and then of course this goes in clothing as well, but I want you guys to see this buckle selection. So if you're a belt maker or a suspender maker, the buckle section here, check this out. So many different types, so many different shapes. Like, this entire wall is of buckles. So if you are thinking about being a belt designer or you've never thought about it before, look at this. Remember where like really big belts were like a huge thing and we were wearing them like crazy in like the early like 2000s? Like, you can come out with an entire belt collection here. Look at this one. So nice. And they have a ton of these. All the way across, even down to wooden ones. Imagine making like a nice little wood belt. So nice, right? Look at that. So I hope that you guys will think about, oh, wait, before I even go further. Chains. This is Chain City over here. You see that? Different types of ropes, flat ropes, gold ropes, black ropes. They have plastic and they have metals, and then they even have more. Let me run over here. Over here. See that? It's crazy, right? So much stuff. And then I'm literally gonna run through the webbing aisle. You thought about webbing and how you can use webbing in belting? This. And webbing is used a lot. I feel like you can use it a lot with belts and stuff like that, but you can really make things decorative, and you can use it as like as a trim, like on the side of pants and stuff like that. So I hope that all of these things are enticing you guys, and that you are really, really thinking about all the different possibilities, and even thinking about exploring the garment district near you. So even if you're not in New York City and you're not close to New York City, Chicago has a garment area and district. LA has a garment area and district. I just really, really encourage you guys to look at the resources around you and really go through and find all of those niches and stuff like that. Now, we're going to be having a virtual tour soon. Date will be confirmed shortly, but it's going to be like this, but like 100 times better. We'll go to our factories, we'll go grading, we'll do all of these things. I'll take you into a more depth when it comes to grading and marking and packaging and stuff like that. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this like mini little tour today, and I hope that you're finding something from it. Remember, 38th Street is king, between 7th and 8th Avenue. All trims, factories, fabric stores, you name it, it's all here, okay? So hope to see you guys at the tour, but we will definitely see you next week for our next show on our How To series. So peace out, designers. Have an amazing weekend.